Hey everybody, how you doing? Today we're going to talk about something that should be very important to all homeowners, and that is lightning and surge protection within your home. And we're going to do it from the beautiful villages right here in Florida, the lightning capital of the world. Yeah, hold on a second, because that may not be entirely true. We're going to look into that fact. But what is a fact is 20% of electrical surges actually come from outside the home, while a whopping 80% pretty much come from inside the home. So let's take a look at how we can protect ourselves against these electrical nasties. Whoa! Let's go ahead and get started. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Rusty Nelson, and welcome. I am down here in the Villages, Florida, and we're going to look into that question about whether Florida is actually really the lightning capital of the world. But before that, I need to make a disclaimer, and that is the fact that I am not a certified electrician. I am not a certified weather person. So you shouldn't listen to me. You need to do your own investigation. I'm just another knucklehead on YouTube, as I always say. But I did do a lot of my own research, and I can kind of tell you what I have found out. Now, what I have done is I used to be a pilot in the Air Force, so I gained my fascination with weather through that. And then I became, through my photography, a storm chaser. And yes, I guided people, that crazy thing, through the Midwest, and actually had to learn a lot about weather for that one. Now, feel free, I'm going to put a link at the end of this. If you feel that people will benefit from this, you can kind of share this around the link. That's great. But what will I be covering today? Well, first off, we're going to start out with that question about whether Florida is the lightning capital of the world. Then we're going to cover a little bit about, very little about lightning safety. And then we're going to start out here and start with the 3 different types of surge protection. And I think you'll find out there's a lot of things that most people don't know about. And I will show you exactly what I have done. What I won't be covering is actual lightning rods placed onto the home. That's a different subject, different video, and not something I'm going to do to my house. With that said, let's take a look at that lightning stuff. This whole lightning thing kind of gets convoluted a little bit because it really depends on what you're talking about, whether you're talking about total strikes, occurrences, deaths, or whatever. But we'll jump into some of the numbers here really quick, and you can make your decision on whether it is the capital of the world. What I can tell you is that the Guinness Book of World Records says the lightning capital of the world is actually a lake down in Venezuela, and they have something like 150 days out of the year there are actually lightning strikes with, I don't know how many millions there are, but supposedly it's pretty phenomenal watching it right over the lake. Well, let's take a look at a couple of slides here, and it'll give you an idea really quick. We'll talk about a little safety, then we're going to jump into the surge protector thing. This is actually for Sumter County. Now you can see exactly where a lot of the lightning strikes are down in Florida. But the thing is, the most lightning occurrences and strikes and stuff actually happens in Texas just because of the enormity of the state itself. So if you're talking about occurrences, then you're talking about Texas. Now, if you take a look at a different slide, and this one is from NOAA, it says, what are the chances of being struck by lightning? And it is a simple question. You can go ahead and read that. But if you look at the bottom, it says, where there is a lot of lightning, there is increased chance of being struck. The Central Florida Peninsula, the Tampa Bay to Cape Canaveral, has the highest lightning concentration in the United States. More than 90% of the lightning in the area occurs between May and October, between the hours of noon and midnight. If we're talking about deaths regarding lightning, then Florida definitely is the king of the United States. From 59 to 19, there was 508 deaths in Florida compared to 231 recorded in Texas. I'm not sure why you'd want to make the claim, but I'll tell you what, every year this changes and every year it comes out with new numbers, and it seems like the news stations jump all over this fact of who is the king of the states, the world, concentration. But without a doubt, this area, especially Central Florida, and very close to Sumter County, about 30 miles away, in the Four Corners over there in Polk County, is the target for the most concentrated in the country. I'd be a little remiss if I didn't talk just a smidgen about safety, and I'll put this link to this put out by NOAA. And here it is: don't get caught outside when thunder roars, go indoors. And this is from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So some big things in here. Obviously, down in the bottom left-hand corner here, if someone's struck, call 911 first and then begin CPR. If you're on organized activities, there's plenty of apps out there that will warn you if lightning is close. And if you are outside, all right, it says avoid open areas, don't be the tallest object in the area, stay away from isolated trees, towers, utility poles. Lightning tends to strike the taller object in the area. Stay away from metal conductors such as wires or fences. Metal does not attract lightning, but lightning can travel a long distance through it. You're safer in a car than you are standing outside. The thing is kind of keep your hands to yourself. Now, check out this picture of us in storm chasing, and the van right ahead of me got hit by lightning while we were driving along. And as you can see, it hit that tiny little antenna up top. And what lightning tends to do is it goes around the cage of the car and jumps out of the car and hits the ground from there. It doesn't go through the tires. Everybody says the tires will insulate you. That's not true. Everything in that van was completely wiped out, and we had to pile everybody in the second van that we were in. If lightning is really close or strikes really close to the house, it's very easy to travel through the house in various ways. And one of those ways is through the actual pipes in the house, not only electrical type things. So what you want to make sure you do is if there's a lightning storm that's close at hand, you want to stay away from, you don't want to be washing your face or taking a shower, and you don't want to be using any handheld appliances, say like a phone that's actually connected into the house. I know, you're probably asking yourself, why in the world am I standing up here? Well, I'm going to try to explain it to you. We'll get to this in a second. When I started to investigate this electrical thing, the lightning and surge protection, I realized that I had read the NEC, the code from the National Electric, whatever it is, continuum, I don't know, but it's called the NEC, and it's the code basically that governs electrical code for homes and buildings and businesses and that type of stuff. And it's the national code. So in 2020, they actually stated for the first time, there was a change where they said that homes had to be built with surge protection. And you may ask why, but the reason that they said that and came about that all of a sudden was they realized they weren't trying to protect your computers and stuff like that. What they were trying to protect were things like this, safety items, like you have smoke detectors, carbon monoxide type things, medical equipment that may be in a home or a nursing home, that type of thing. So they said that in 2020, that you had to have some type of surge protection built into the home. Well, in 2023, they upped that and they started to talk about a lot of things that needed it. But for us, we really have to consider, we have a lot of us have a lot of electrical equipment in the house that we want to protect. If you look around here, I've got tons of stuff in here. I've got this, I've got my computers, I've got my printers, even these lights up here. Anything that has a circuit board in it, you're trying to protect. And that could be all types of things. And you think about, well, I'm not worried about carbon monoxide and that kind of thing. You know, we've all got this. Alexa, time.
Good afternoon, Rusty. The time is 12:15 p.m.
Right? So we've even got things like Alexa, speakers, all that type of thing. And you may go, Rusty, I don't want to run around and put surge protectors on everything in my house. Well, I'm going to try to show you some ways in a layered way how you can help protect some things. And it's kind of, like I said, this is research that I've done. It's kind of up to you after that as to what you want to do. Here we are back on it was right back where we started. And of course, there's our barking neighbor's dogs. We are going to look at type 1 and then type 2, then type 3. But type 1 is generally installed by the electric company. Mine was installed when I moved here. I had Duke Electric installed. Of course, they had the sales pitch of, you know, if you do it now, you get it installed for free. So sometimes there's a charge for it. And basically, this goes in between the meter and actually the circuit breaker panels on the other side. So you have the power lines coming in, and before it goes to the circuit breaker panel on the other side, that's what this helps to interrupt. So what does it interrupt? Anything that comes through the electrical lines and into your meter. In other words, when you see a thunderstorm 10 miles away or a windstorm and your lights start to flash, those are surges. Those are visible surges that you're seeing, large surges, and that's what this will help with. Now, if we take a look right on the side right here, there is a little light, and you're going to find this with surge protectors. Most of them do have lights. And I believe inside this there is a fused protection and some other stuff because this has to handle a lot of power. Anyway, that's about it. That's about all you really need to know. You need to call up your electrical company. This is not something you can do yourself. So you can call up your electrical company, inquire with them. They also, I pay a monthly fee, and that's also kind of insurance to help with insurance if anything gets fried inside. So let's go inside the garage and take a look on the other side of this panel, and we're going to investigate type 2 surge protection. Let's talk about how we protect on the load side of the panel with a type 2, and that's basically what this is. What we're doing here is protecting against that 80%, all the surges that can happen on the load side from inside the home. It'll also help to protect from some from the outside the home. But in essence, it's a little bit stronger than a type 3, and it is placed on the load side of the panel. Now, there's a few different types. There are some that are actually circuit breakers that you can plug right into the panel, and they're also surge protectors. That's one type you can do in there. And then you can also have some of these, a type 2, that will come in from here, or they're mounted from below or inside, that kind of look like this. They usually look like a square brick. And those actually have to have a circuit breaker and work through a circuit breaker. Usually like a double pull 20 amp or 30 amp or 50 amp, just depending on what type it is. This one, the one that I'm going to use, is actually a type 1 or a type 2 surge protector. We're going to talk a little bit about how they work in a second. But what that's saying is this can actually be mounted either inside the box or can be mounted down below here and put into the main lines into the house, or it can be put through, for a type 2, it can be put through a circuit breaker that's mounted in the panel. Now, the reason I picked this one, usually this is a Vortexx, but this is definitely something when you get to this point, you probably don't want to do it yourself type thing. You are much better off having somebody installed, especially if there is a warranty that comes along with it, like with this one, with the Vortexx. The actual warranty comes along with it for the unit itself. I believe it has like a lifetime, depending on what caused the unit to go bad, whether it's defective or caused for a lightning strike, a nearby lightning strike or something. But it also has a warranty for electrical equipment inside the home. So that's one reason. So how do these actually work? Inside each one of these, a type 2 and type 3, is what's called an MOV. And what this MOV is, it's just a little kind of circuit looking thing. I'm not gonna get too technical on this. And it's put inside these, it senses, and when it's kind of like a switch. And when that voltage goes over, it surges, it flips over and it'll actually run the overcurrent down into the ground and outside the house into the ground. Now, on this particular unit, the reason that I chose this one, it also has a gas discharge tube that acts like a surge protector to that MOV. That MOV, that little circuit in there, every time it gets pricked by a surge, it starts to deteriorate that. It kind of helps to protect that MOV, so like a surge protector in front of that, so that it's not damaged by those surges. And that's kind of like the way I understand it. I'm not an engineer, and I don't have to be an engineer. I can easily understand that. Now, on each one of these, there is, right there, there's a little light right there. And if it's damaged or not working, that light is going to let you know that that's what's going on. Also with this one, because you can place this inside the cabinet, it also has an audible alarm to it. So it'll go off and make a sound if it goes bad to let you know. So those are the reasons that I chose this one. And this is a type 2 and it's going to go in here. That's, yeah, I'll put some links to different ones down there. And like I said, very soon we're going to do a video of the actual installation when they come, and those guys will explain that a little bit better because we may actually turn off the power to do this. Anyway, that's about it for type 2. Don't worry, we're almost there. We're done with this. And like I said, I'll put links to a lot of this stuff down below so that you can easily tap into it on Amazon. Let's talk about type 3 surge protection. And this is point of use. In other words, this is something that you're going to plug into before you actually plug into the wall. Now, don't forget, we've already tried to protect against type 1 from that 20% coming from outside. We've also are protecting against surges that come within the panel, i.e. surges from around the house, say from your air conditioner and that type of thing. Now we're going to protect against stuff that is close at hand, right near the unit itself or the point of use where you're going to plug something in. So first of all, let's take a look at what is not a surge protector. A lot of people think that if they have one of these, this right here is a surge protector. It has a little on-off thing, and sometimes they'll have like a little fuse on it. Well, that little fuse thing there does not make it a surge protector. That little fuse thing is used when you overload this. It'll pop so that it's not, you haven't overloaded it. So this is really nothing more than something, a little strip for you to plug more than one plug-in. So don't get confused. That is not a surge protector. This is, now I did a little bit of research, and believe it or not, good old Amazon, this is the one I use around my house, and this is actually a surge protector, and it's grounded. Now, here's the cool thing. When you plug one of these in, hopefully you'll be able to see this, and whoops, you should be able to, I hope. You can see in there that there's a green light that's lit up green. And the reason that's important is, remember I told you about the MOVs with the type 2s, that, you know, these little surges keep pecking away at those MOVs. You need to have something on here that kind of tells you when these are becoming deteriorated, because every time that pecks away at that MOV, the MOVs that are inside here, it kind of deteriorates the value of this. And when these lights go out, that means this is no longer effective. You're basically working with just a power strip. Now, this I have this back by my computers. I have this, one of them by my printers, that type of thing. They're all plugged into these. Now, obviously, the best way to protect yourself, when I leave for a while and I'm not around, I unplug everything. So, you know, except for my internet, Wi-Fi, that type of thing, that's still plugged in because I have a lot of security cameras and that type of thing. Also, there are these type. This has got a little light right there that shines green that will tell you that it is good and that it is still working. So that's really important. I don't have one on my refrigerator now. I'll tell you why. Because it seems like there's a lot of controversy over the refrigerator itself, whether it should have a surge protector. In fact, if you go on to GE and you type in GE surge protector, it'll say GE recommends not having a surge protector on their refrigerator. So that's why I don't have it on there. I'll show you the ones here really quick on my washer and dryer. This is the unit that I use, and I actually, when I leave, I actually unplug it just the way you see right there. And as you can see, this has a time delay on it. So when you first plug it in, it kind of thinks it had a little power surge. So it waits to make sure it sees the normal voltage. And then after a short period of time, this light will turn from yellow to green to show you that it is working and normal. But it also has a light to show you that there has been a high voltage surge or a low voltage surge. And as you can see, it just went out and now this little green light's on, and that's how that works. But I actually unplug it every time I leave just because I don't want to take a chance. I also unplug my microwave along with a lot of other smaller appliances like Alexa. Good, she didn't hear me. If you go on there and you type in GE washer and dryer, in a general thing, it says GE says to plug it directly into the wall. This is actually what led me to do more research into these surge protectors. And I went back and read my manual for my specific washer and dryer, and nowhere in there does it say not to use a surge protector. So I still have these on there, and they seem to be working very well. But I also unplug them when I leave. A lot of people say they just turn off the circuit breaker. I don't do that. I just pull the plug out of the wall and let it stand that way. The important thing about this is they all have the lights in there. They're not good forever. You get these surges all day long. Every time the power company makes a change in their grid, when your air conditioner comes on and off, you run the vacuum cleaner, and like I said before, you'll even see in my one room where I have all that equipment plugged into, when I turn on my computer, those lights flicker just a little bit. That's a power surge. And that's where these type 3s come in, protecting it within that circuit that's on there. Boy, I think that's just got about, I think we covered most of it. The big thing, this is all kind of in general, and you need to do your own research for your specific situation. But I think you not finally, but you kind of get the gist of, after all of my research, and trust me, it was a lot, of type 1, type 2, and type 3. And the big thing is it also goes in the amount of power and stuff that it can block. And that's the type 1 is a lot bigger for lightning. Type 2 is a lot more power surges and some from outside. And type 3 are a lot less, but kind of deal right at point of use. Anyway, I hope that you've learned a lot. Don't forget to share this, because I think a lot of people could benefit it. I'll put the share link as I put it. You just have to copy that link and you can paste it into Facebook. You can send it to a friend, do whatever you want. And also, as far as the hurricane season, that's coming around real soon, along with the lightning season. You know, that June, July, August, September timeframe for lightning is pretty big around here. I will probably be going out if there's any hurricane type stuff. I will be broadcasting live. I'll also be doing shorts here, so make sure you subscribe on when hurricanes kind of coming into the area of Central Florida. Anyway, that's about it. That's most of the research that I did. I hope it helps some people out. And remember, I am not an electrician, So don't count on anything that I say. Do your own research. I'm just a knucklehead on YouTube, and I think that'll help a lot of people out. You know, there's one thing that I didn't think of that's protected also that a lot of us have here. I don't know why I added this in, but our hot water heaters. A lot of us have hot water heaters that are attached also, and a lot of low voltage stuff. So anyway, thanks a lot for joining me. Make sure you stay tuned and subscribe for when we actually put that Type 2 surge protector in. I can't wait. They said they come in and do that and show the wiring for it. And I will see you down here in the Villages, or I'll see you back on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And you have a happy lightning-free day.